Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Decisions Lunch and Learn. I'm going to be your host for today, Gregory Goldston, on March 19th. Quick reminders, check out our YouTube channel. That's going to be Decisions Support. You can also just scan the QR code and get there. We keep uploading content. We keep uploading Lunch and Learns. There are reasons to look there. Decision Solutions Marketplace also has reasons to look there. In fact, they've got different kinds of projects that you can import into your development environment and utilize and work with in order to see how they function, maybe modify them for your use case. They are designed to be instructional and provide insight into how to perform particular actions within the decision server. And of course, we've got DocBot. It's in the support chat now, all the way back to Decisions version 7 up to our latest version. And from what I know, it's planned to continue that way. So take a look at that. All right, well, that's all I got as far as our intro goes. So let me switch over to my decision screen and then I will start answering Q&A questions. And this transition is not elegant, but it will do. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. And then after I do that, it forces me to bring up all the attendees and Q&A again. So let me get that up. Um, Marvin's saying there's an issue with the sound. Can I get a confirmation that people can hear me real quick?
I
You're
can hear
good.
you,
I can
Greg.
hear you.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Well, Marvin, I did get your pre-submitted question. And why don't I unmute you so that we can talk a little bit about this? For context, the question was as follows. When there are multiple active form flows on a form that is run on startup, what order are they executed? That is the question at hand. And the answer to that is kind of, I don't want to say it's complex, but let me first understand, Marvin, what it is that you're trying to do with this information here.
I'm not hearing anything. I'm trying to figure out if it's on my end or what.
Can I don't think I can put it in the chat.
I
Hold
can
on.
see the transcript.
Okay. Oh, you can see the transcript. I can hear you. The rest of the team can hear me. They just confirmed that. So I do think it might be with your audio.
Let me hop out and I'll jump back in.
Sounds good. Yep, no rush on that. But yeah, the question is regarding active form flow order. Basically, if you have all of the active form flows kicking off at once at the start of the form, how does it know what order to kick them off in? Or do they all just go at once? Let's see. He should be able to rejoin in just a moment. I'm looking at our attendees. Oh. There he is. Hey, can you
I'm
hear us?
still not hearing you, but the test says everything's working, but I don't hear anything. So let me get back with you. Go to somebody else and I'll let you know. Thanks.
Well, I would if we had another question.
Hey, Marvin, this is Robert in the transcript text style. Try clicking the microphone on the bottom right, bottom left of it and seeing what your selected output is. Once you have that identified, go over to your system, like your Windows. Can I share my screen for a second?
Yeah, sure thing.
I don't think it's not going to let me show the Zoom side of it, but go to your Zoom down here, bottom left, and figure out what your output is. And then actually, let me switch to this core monitor in the middle here. And then on here, click this, click that, and then go down here and make sure it's not muted in this channel. So it's, once again, it's kind of your sound, mixer, and then whatever output, make sure that these are not like this.
Yeah, I found it for some reason, it was pointing to a different set of speakers. So I just switched it. I can hear you now. Thanks.
Oh,
Oh,
perfect.
fantastic.
Good
Glad
to
to
hear your
hear it.
voice, man. Glad you can hear mine too. Let's go. Here you go, Greg.
I
Cool,
figured
cool.
it's on my end.
All right, here we go. Can you see our screen? Everything good?
Yes.
All right, cool, cool. All right, so yeah, let me get a little bit more context for why you're looking for the execution order, because I don't want to just recommend something depending on like design paradigm here. So let's understand what your use case is. You've got a form, it's executing multiple active form flows on startup, right? So you have multiple different flows that are running and they run on startup.
Yes, but let me give you a little bit bigger context.
Okay.
I have multiple forms in line that I'm collecting data from. Not that you have to represent this here, but I've got multiple forms collecting data. On one of the middle forms has 3 drop-down boxes, and they're all dependent upon each other.
Okay.
And I can go back and forth between the forms. So I might need to rebuild debate based on a selection or something that wasn't selected. And I just wanted to know if there was some way to determine if there was an execution order. That's all.
Okay. So to answer your question, I am getting back with the developers. I've reached out to them regarding this before this meeting to confirm the tests that I have run. But I will show you the tests that I have run real quick. So let's debug this real quick.
That's why I sent it early this morning, to give you a chance to, if you needed to
I
talk to
did
somebody.
test it and I did reach out to them. They have yet to respond to me. Yep. No, I saw it was early. It's like, oh, it'd probably be
Well,
good
it's
to
early for today, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So what's going on here is each of these rule flows is running on startup and they each populate this with the specified number. So 3 populates it with 3, 2, 1. This technically populates it with 4. Don't worry about the 2.5. And then
Right.
this populates it with 5.
Okay.
This one is always executing last. In fact, they always execute in this order. And from what I have been testing, it does not seem to matter what the name is. It doesn't
Okay.
seem to matter where on the form it is. And I can't do anything in my power to change it. But it seems like it is based upon whichever order they were created in.
That's not good.
It is not good. No. In
Yeah.
fact, I decided to go at the database level and alter. Here, I will show you. And this is where my confusion comes from. So I saw that it was by created on date. No matter what I changed the names to, altered them, changed, outputs,
Right.
inputs, all that sort of stuff. It always seemed, and even modified old ones to see if it was modified date. That doesn't seem to be the case. But here's the problem. So I went to the database and I changed the created on date of this one to 1905. But
Okay.
that didn't change the order. So something in a different table is recording what order. This is theory. This is
Yeah,
we're
I
transitioning from
got you.
fact to theory. Something in a different table is keeping track of that created on date and not the element registration table. Now, if it's captured in the entity header data table, you don't want to touch that because that
Right.
could break way more on your environment. You probably shouldn't be
Yeah.
touching element registration either, but that usually doesn't have as far-reaching consequences, if I can be honest. But
Thankfully, I don't even know where that is. So
not a problem, not a problem. But it is by create on date. As far as my tests go, I've run that debugger at least 20 times, and I have not seen a different order depending on whatever I change it to, wherever I apply it to. Even if I had extra steps to try and delay one of the flows, it doesn't seem to matter.
wow.
Yeah. Now I'll get confirmation on the devs as far as why I'm seeing what I'm seeing, but that's how it seems to be at the moment.
That's a issue for me anyway.
You're trying to get them to all run and populate on startup, right? That's what you're
Well,
looking for?
technically, in this scenario, yes, because one depends on the other.
Right. Okay.
You
So
know, like drop down two depends on drop down one, and drop down three depends on drop down two. And
right.
depending on what was filled in, maybe I just filled in the first drop down, went to the next page, and then decided to come back. So the run on startup executes again, and if they're not in the right order, no telling what answer you might get.
Could you make the other drop downs run on selection from the first one, or would that not work for your use case?
Well, they're doing that as well, but there's one of them that has to run on startup.
So that if one of them has the selected option on it, then it populates that option from if you
Right,
go to a
because it's
form and then you go back.
the second one is an actual dynamic build based on the first one.
I see.
So you don't know what's, what to collect.
Let's see here. How can we do this then? Yeah, I get what you're saying. It doesn't know what to collect in order to populate it. So you have different fields that are specified in here and drop downs. It goes to the next one. And if you go back, then you have to have those same fields populated. So you need to run all those populations on
I
startup.
mean, for example, maybe you had something that had, US states, then cities, and I don't know, however you want to drill down to it.
Okay. Okay.
Just as coming up with an example, you don't want to load a bunch of cities until you know what state you're in.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you go back, would it just be possible to set the pre-selected item here? Would that still break with the active form flows?
Reselected.
Yeah, so if you have
Yes, I'm saving what was selected, but maybe I'm overthinking this. Uh, and I don't know how you would, if you had a city, what you could put. Maybe you had a list of businesses, just trying to come up with an example.
yeah, I'm gonna write out one here real quick just to
Yeah.
try. There we go. Just pick stuff that's local here, and then we have a different string, and this gets populated from an active form flow depending on the selection here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that comes in, it populates the data that's within this. So this, I'm just going to set it as, hold on, type string. And then that's going to be data name. That data name is going to have a list of all of the cities, and that's going to get populated once this is selected. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this gets selected. This runs, I'm assuming, on, hold on. I hit the wrong thing. I'm assuming that runs from the state selection changed, right?
Yes.
Okay. So state selection is run on startup. City runs when the state selection is changed. You output the data to another form. You then have to go back and re-input the data if someone hits the back button, right? Populated
Yes.
with the same state and city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the problem is that the run on startup flow.
Well, in this case, I built city first.
Okay, that's
and then added state later.
okay. That's I don't think that's going to be a problem here. So
But
let me just keep these. Let me keep these here real quick because hold on. If they go back, you want the same data they put in before to be filled in, right?
okay.
All right. That's where I'm wondering if Oh, I see. Yeah, I thought so. I thought you could do that. So with state, you can predetermine. I mean, obviously it'd be from flow, it'd be from the other one, but you should be able to predetermine an input here, right? This one runs,
Mhm.
and then if I debug this, this will populate with Virginia, which means that because this is Virginia, but you can't have this one work without a run on startup because the selection didn't change from this. So
Right.
that's why this one has to run as run on startup, right?
Yes.
I see. Hmm. There are two ways I can think of working around this. The not involving order in any way. There are two ways I can think of working around this. The
Okay.
first is if these are all drop downs, you
Yes.
just pass in all the values in the previous one.
That's not an option.
Non-option.
No,
Okay.
we're talking like thousands of possibilities, and that would kill the drop down, or all the possible options.
Oh, no, no, no. I just meant like passing in the selected one, not all listed items. That's not what I mean by that. But I guess
All right.
if you go back and be
Mhm.
able to alter that, right, to be able to run it on a selection, what if you added a rule in your active form float that just checked if the selected option was null?
Well, that's what I'm doing as part of the active form flow. I'm checking to see if the parent was selected or not. But then you get that recursive question,
Because you're
and
passing something in, but then the parent, can you check in the parent active form flow if the parent selected or not? Then if
sure, I
it
mean,
is,
I
run
can
the
do that as
fetch.
well, as much as that's what I'm trying to determine without, I mean, yeah, I could overcode it per se, but I was trying to keep from having to do that. If there was an actual order, I wouldn't have to, you know,
I'll check with the devs and try and get an answer back as far as what's causing that, because maybe there is a way, right? Maybe there is something here that I'm not sure how to rearrange and it doesn't involve the actual structure in the table. But I've yet to find that. Also, Vitali's follow-up of did you check is blocking checkbox? Vitali, that involves like populating the form data within the flow, right? So I don't think that would be, I don't think checking or unchecking that would be a solution in our case. Because even if we pass into selected, it's still going to determine whether or not it's going to populate. I know what you're talking about, though. The is blocking is very nice, where it prevents the form from continuing. Here, I'll go to it right now. It prevents the form from continuing before the active form flow finishes. So it has to finish running this first.
yeah, whatever the default is whatever. I haven't used that.
Yeah, so it's is blocking. Yeah, that's the
That's
default.
what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, auto run wouldn't work. Yeah, I will let you know when they give me an answer. That's what I saw from my testing, but I'll be glad to let you know. I think the I think the solution is to run in that initial parent flow to check if a value got popped in or not.
Sure.
Because if it did, right, that runs on startup. If it populates,
And it
then it
also
would go
runs
that
on
one.
change. It'll need to run on change as well.
Yeah, it'll need to run on both of them. Yeah, so this one would run on change and run on startup, but you create this one first, which runs first for the cities, right? So the
Well,
only
and let's just say for the state, you
uh
have to run it on change and also on startup.
right.
You have to check the trigger name to decide which how they get there,
Hmm.
because depending on which one, the flow is different.
Yeah. Yeah, it
And that's where it
would.
was starting to get convoluted because I had to do that all the way down the stack and it got more and more repetitive. Maybe I was making a mountain out of a molehill, but
You know what you can do too? You don't have to check what value is put in here per se. You can check the initial value. So that determines whether or not it got changed. That is flow data available to you inside of your active form flow.
okay, I'm not.
I'll tell you this. So when you're going down the form data and like
Yeah,
values and you're trying to make your city determine whether or not it should run based upon that population, because you don't want your run on startup to fetch all those and overwrite the selected, right? That's what you're trying to
right.
avoid. Yep.
Mm, well, that's the thing. I'm doing that too.
Oh,
First
I
of all,
see.
I
It's
check to
not even.
see whether it's, um, run at startup or else. And then I check to see, okay, was it a changed value? Did they actually select something or did they set it back to null or empty?
Mm. Um, let's. You could. Oh, well, this is a bit messy though. You could set an invisible flag that also acts as a trigger to the city. Like it sets a control value, and when that changes, like an invisible checkbox, the city
Uh-huh.
also runs. So the city would also, even if the city's running first, right, and it doesn't know anything to get, as soon as the state gets populated in that flow from its active form flow, it would set
Okay.
that box, and then that would trigger the city to run based upon that state selection. That would fix the issue. That doesn't. There's got to be a better way to do that, but that would work.
Yeah, well, actually, I was thinking more of maybe a hidden integer.
Yeah, something
Basically
along
set it
those
to
lines.
0, and then if once the state's checked, I could say 1. The first drop down is complete, and then
Correct.
in the city set it to 2, and check those that way.
And
Okay.
your city active form flow, yeah, would automatically be checking that anytime that value gets changed.
Right,
So, yeah, there's let me check with the devs. There might be a way still to do this. That would work. It just feel like there's got to be a better way, you know?
right.
But yeah, I think that's all I've got in the matter then as
That,
far
or I
as
can just send a support ticket one way or the other. However
you
you.
know, you know what? They could see exactly what your process is and give you some recommendations. That may not be a bad idea, just because it is a bit complex.
Yes,
You know what? It couldn't hurt.
I
Why
did
not?
look at the documentation. I didn't expect to find anything like that in there, but I did look.
No, it's worth checking. Yeah, sometimes there are just random little tidbits of knowledge in there outside of just, documenting stuff. It's kind of
But
nice.
okay,
All right. Yeah, let's open a support ticket. I will send you an email directly if I learn anything about that from the devs. All right.
okay, I'll send a support ticket then. All right, thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So let's see our questions. We don't have any further questions yet. Oh, I do remember it was a sec execution order property, but that might be on rule sets. That is on rule sets, and also that got removed. So not going to function here, Vitali, unfortunately. Yeah, that was back a bit ago. The set execution order has since been taken away, and that didn't apply to active form flows, unfortunately.
And I believe we're on 9.7 now.
Yeah, it's not going to be there. Not a bad one to be on. About to get a nice update here, but yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes because I've been talking for a bit and you all have had time to put in questions. So I'll give it a few more minutes. If I don't see a question pop up in the Q&A, then we'll just end it early. It's not gonna be a problem here. I was actually going over a lot of stuff with the formula designer, which is new to version 9.3 and beyond, right over here. So it's a pretty cool functionality that allows you to, well, create formulas basically that can be used in flows. And you can use them in a lot of places with flows. So right here, I have a least common multiple function from over here and a convert to string. So it's going to output a string from whatever my least common multiple is. So if I did 3, 4, and 8, then it should be 24 when I evaluate. Oh. No. Oh, because that's why I put it in an array. My bad. Yeah, it really wouldn't work there now, would it? Yeah, here we go, 24. And then it outputs that as a string with the toString option. What's cool about this is, first of all of the stuff is documented. You can go to info and see exactly how it works, as well as what the inputs it takes. And you can call these formulas via an API. So in the same way that you can call flows and rules to run, you can call formulas and use them directly inside of your flow, like I do right here in my demo project for customer contracts. So fetches contracts, updates. It lets us choose a contract to update. And then from here, it calls a formula. And I'm actually using a formula as the input for this too, to format my data into a more readable way. So in this conditionals right here, you can see I'm passing in a list of items, a list of strings, and I'm joining them with a comma so that my API call can read them correctly and then pass out the contract amount that I'm looking for from here. Or sorry, the variance in the contract amount, which is coming out of here. Checks it in a rule, which also utilizes formulas in a declarative area. So you can actually declare formulas inside of these rules. And what it allows you to do is utilize all of the input data that you pass into these statement rules, configure any way you want, and give the variable the name. So let's say that anything I pass in here was an integer. I'm going to do a very simple one of just converting it to a string. And let's say that I want the output from the absolute acceptable variance. Save that. And now my variable 1, I can select that from here now. It comes in as an input to my rule that I'm setting up. I don't remember what this was before, so I'm just going to exit without saving it. But that would be how you get that to operate. And of course, you can just call them within steps as well. The difference that formulas can make in your environment is kind of crazy. For example, I have a combinations form here that fetches, it creates factorials, which is the multiplication of consecutive integers by itself up to the specified integer. So 4 factorial is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. 6 factorial is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6. And with formulas, this would be the flow that I would need to do this. All right. In fact, these two could technically be combined, but I just wanted the data for something else, so I split it up. Whereas if I didn't utilize formulas, here's the shortest way that I could do that with these steps right here. And I'm going to delete these real quick. So yeah, can save you a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of space. So yeah, just wanted to go over that real quick.
That would be a nice little topic video. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
There is one. Jeremy put one out a bit ago,
really?
actually. Yeah. Jeremy's got one up there. It's at least 20 minutes long, going over all the little minutia of it. It's pretty cool.
I'll have to look for it.
Yeah, it came out
put it
in
in the chat.
9.3.
I'll put it in the chat for you.
Cool.
For everybody. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Marvin, a dev got back to me and he doesn't think there's a way to change it. Just so you're aware.
Sounds like the hidden value idea is the way to go then.
I guess so. I'll check to see. He's not certain. Sometimes I'll get hit with a double whammy where one dev says something, the other one is actually, and comes in.
Yeah.
So I'll message you at the conclusion of this matter. But yeah.
Thanks.
Sure thing. Okay. Well, I think that's gonna be it for LNL today. That video should be in the chat, by the way. So hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for attending and look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.